In this short video, I'm going to discuss the parallel layers materials protocol for measuring layer thickness. This protocol is specifically designed to measure the layer thickness of horizontal or vertical parallel layers. To load the protocol, select the count size ribbon and press the protocols button. The parallel layers protocol is located in the materials group. You simply locate the parallel layers and press the load button. The protocol includes a demo image or image set demonstrating the protocol. To load the demo image, select the Reset button drop-down and load demo, and then this will load the demo image. This image has some special attributes. One layer is very clear and distinct. It will easily be segmented. However, the other two layers have a very rough boundary between the two, which will lead to some challenges. To start the protocol, press the Sync button, which will load either the image channel names or the type of image it is. In this case, it's a monochrome image. And I'm going to use the setup portion to define how the layers are to be, or how the sampling probes are to be defined. Next, how many layers are there? In this case, there's 3. And for each layer, we're going to choose, in this case, it's going to be the same image to define. Once the setup is complete, make sure the interactive button is turned on, and press the Next Step button. In the setup step, this is determining the orientation of the sampling probes. And to do this, it's preset for horizontal. However, you can also select preset vertical, which will change the orientation of the lines. For this sample, we want to use preset horizontal, and we have a few choices on how to analyze our image. In this case, sampling frequency changes the number of sampling lines. Offset will bring lines in from the edge of the image if you have some image effects or there's other issues with the image. You can pull the lines in from the side. Then finally, if your image was rotated when you acquired it, or it's rotated a little bit, instead of having to rotate the image, you can simply rotate the lines and get them in the proper sampling orientation. When you're satisfied, you can press the OK button. By default, show measurement pattern is on. For our sample, we're going measuring from the top of the image to the bottom. We can also flip the analysis direction. I'm going to press the OK button and press the next step. And now we're going to define our first layer. The important thing to understand in the layer thickness protocols is how do we define the boundaries of the layer. In this case, I'm going to use segmentation to define a polygon region. And the top boundary is going to be defined by the top of the polygon. The bottom is going to be defined by the bottom of the polygon. At this point, I can use Magic Wand and create my polygon, which is going to define my boundaries for this layer. In this step, I have other tools available to either manually draw or to adjust the threshold in segmentation and plus fill holes. In this case, I'm filling the holes to make sure I have a nice solid layer. And I'm going to press the OK button. If the layer is not properly defined, I can always delete it and then redraw it, or use the Magic Wand by selecting the tools and redefining it. When complete, press the Next Step button. So now we've defined the top layer, and you can see these two boundaries by the thin dashed line. Next, we need to define the second layer. To do that, we can set the boundary type based upon how we're defining it. So the top is going to be defined by this previous layer since it's already there. We don't have to redo it. The challenge is, because there's an indistinct layer here, we're going to have to manually draw it. And right now, for the demonstration, that tool is already selected. And that is defined by polyline. So I can simply come in and hand draw that polyline. If the boundary was a little more solid, you could use the auto trace and auto trace that line. Here I'm simply going to draw it and come across and double click 10. When I'm done drawing the line, press the OK button. If the line is incorrect, you can also make adjustments or delete by simply pressing the delete key and using one of the tools to redraw that polyline. When you manually redraw, press the validate button when complete. You will press the next step button. And now we have a final layer to define. In this case, we have a nice clean boundary down at the bottom created by this material. I could, if I wanted to, manually draw this, or possibly do an auto trace, but because there are tools available, I can create a polygon down here because I have a very nice homogeneous area, which will then define this boundary. And that is set up here by looking at the setup. You see the previous layer, which is here for the top, and the bottom is going to be defined by polygon top. In this case, because I can use the match wand to segment that area, I have a very nice clean boundary. And that's going to define my layer boundary by this polygon top. When done, press the OK button. Continue, press the next step button. And now I have my 3 layers clearly defined using a combination of intensity threshold to use the match wand, drawing a polygon to define those boundaries. Once the analysis is completed, you have your data output, including a snapshot image, which can all be exported to Excel. And each layer has information regarding the mean, max, min, and standard deviation of the layer thickness based on your sampling line. You also include a pie chart, which may be exported or included in your report. There's also a simple version of the data table listing the same information without the snapshot. Again, all this information may be exported or included in a report included with ImagePro. When completed, press the Finish button.